Assalamu alaikum. This is your instructor मोहम्मद सभी. आज से हम स्टार्ट करेंगे अपने ऑनलाइन लेक्चर्स. इंशाल्लाह I will make some quick review lectures on the previous 2 weeks. From here onwards, यहाँ से हम week 3 से start कर रहे हैं. So this is lecture number 7. So today we're gonna talk about ingredients of technical or research abstract. So why should we study abstract? Basically, abstract is a key parameter, or abstract is a key parameter in most of the online search databases. और इसकी वजह से if you are looking for a research paper of your interest, और आप अच्छा और appropriate research paper ढूंढ रहे हैं, so you should be able to use proper abstracts. आपको पता हो कि abstract abstract पढ़ा कैसे जाता है, abstract के ingredients हैं क्या. अगर if you know कि abstracts किस तरह से लिखे जाते हैं और उनके क्या sections होते हैं, then you will be able to figure out and find your appropriate research papers. Otherwise आपके पास एक dump लग जाएगा. You will be end up with a clutter of research papers of no good use. And of course, one day you will need to write one good abstract for your own work, for sure. So आज हमारा focus है कि abstract research papers के लिए कैसे लिखे जाते हैं. So usually what we need is we need it for a conference or journal paper commonly. लेकिन ये और भी reports और टेक्निकल रिपोर्ट्स और इस तरह से और रिसर्च रिपोर्ट्स वगैरह के लिए भी ज़रूरत होती है. बट टुडे वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट स्पेसिफिकली कि रिसर्च पेपर्स और कॉन्फ्रेंस पेपर्स के लिए एब्स्ट्रैक्ट कैसे लिखे जाते हैं. एंड इट लुक्स लाइक अ शॉर्ट पैराग्राफ और समरी, बट इट इज़ मोर देन दैट. It's more than that. And key ingredients of an abstract are, for example, the first one is motivation. इसको sometimes introduction भी कहा जाता है. इसको sometimes the overall purpose of the study भी है. Second thing comes is the problem statement, or it is also called the research significance, that the work that you are doing, what kind of research significance that has. So this is the problem statement, is a kind of thing जो वहाँ पे होनी चाहिए. Then the approach. इस अप्रोच को आप इस तरह भी हाईलाइट करते हैं कि बेसिकली व्हाट इज़ द बेसिक डिज़ाइन ऑफ योर स्टडी और योर रिसर्च, और बेसिक मेथोडोलॉजी आप क्या यूज़ कर रहे हैं. देन कम्स द रिजल्ट्स एंड फाइनली कम्स द कंक्लूजन्स या मेजर फाइंडिंग्स जो भी आपके पास है. सो एज एक एब्स्ट्रैक्ट जो भी रिसर्च पेपर का होता है, इसमें ऑल्दो इट्स नॉट जस्ट लाइक अ समरी, और इसमें हर एक sentence it's basically has a proper meaning or conveying some information. For example, the motivation or the one liner or two lines of motivation are conveying the purpose of the study या introduction बताती हैं. Then there are some lines जो कि specifically problem statement उस research की बताती हैं, उसकी significance बताती हैं. Then we have the approach that you might have used or the other people have already used in this research method. क्या use किया उन्होंने. Then comes the results. उसी में abstract में ही कहीं पे results भी mention होंगे, और इसी तरह abstract के अंदर ही एक छोटा सा conclusion भी होगा. So this is just like a main paper. It's a short form of paper. More on abstract, we can say कि ये I rather like it to say कि this is the resume of your work. And abstract helps us in selling our work, and also abstract is difficult to write, lekin the high benefits that it brings are tremendous. Despite the fact that an abstract is quite brief, it must do as much work or impact as the whole research paper. Abstract is just like the first impression, और abstract पढ़ने के बाद ही लोग आगे पेजेस को चेक करेंगे या डाउनलोड करेंगे. नॉर्मली ऑन डेटाबेसेस हमारे पास सिर्फ एक्सेस होता है to read the abstract. Abstract is always available for any sort of paper. Abstract पढ़ने के बाद आपको अंदाज़ा हो जाता है कि you need it or not. Now in details, ingredients of an abstract, एक एक करके हम पढ़ेंगे. Every section is typically a single sentence. So for every section, typically एक या दो sentences होंगे जो कि उसकी ingredients sections को बता रहे होंगे. And but there is always a room for improvement and creativity. और we should be ready कि एक room आपकी creativity का रहेगा. But there is always a room for improvement and creativity. So the first section is about motivation, and the motivation is about either motivation. So what is motivation? Either highlight the importance of the problem or the importance of the work. So there is one way, either we highlight the problem itself, how important the problem is, or if the problem is already widely accepted as it is important. So in that case, हमें कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है, and we might directly discuss and show in the motivation that the work that we have done is important, because the problem itself is already important and everybody knows about it. So you can start with the first sentence that discusses, that highlights that your problem is the solution that you are going to provide is important, and also include the importance of your work, the difficulty, challenges of the technical research area, and the impact it might have if successful. So secondly, we can go to the problem statement. और problem statement में ये है कि what problems are you trying to solve, इसको highlight करना ज़रूरी है. And next we have the what is the scope of work. Scope of work is crucial, क्योंकि इसी से हम बताते हैं कि either हम the thing that we are doing is the solution that we are doing, or the problem we are tackling is generalized approach or specific approach. Generalized means it can be, for example, you might be working for a solution of the battery system for electrical vehicles, या हम specific हो जाते हैं कि for example battery system for the Prius, and we are trying to solve some specific issue of the battery system related to the Prius या टोयोटा की किसी गाड़ी के लिए. और of course problem statement करते हुए jargons को, too much use of jargons is we should avoid it. ऐसा नहीं होता शुरू में आप काम करते हैं, it looks like this paper has solved every sort of problem. No, every research problem has a very clear scope, और उसी scope को ही उन्होंने resolve किया होता है. Of course, approach is the next one. Approach means how did you go about solving or making progress on the problem. Approach is crucial. Approach is crucial. Approach को अच्छी तरह से बताना और उसको समझाना, it is so crucial. How did you go about solving or making progress on the problem? Now, did you use simulation or simulation only, या फिर you went through the मैथमेटिकल मॉडल, आपने कोई एनालिटिकल मॉडल बना के उसको सॉल्व किया है, या आपने बाकायदा एक प्रोटोटाइप कंस्ट्रक्ट किया है, एक हार्डवेयर बाकायदा कंस्ट्रक्ट किया है, और यू माइट हैव एक्सेस टू द फील्ड डाटा और द रियल डाटा ऑफ फॉर एन एक्चुअल प्रोडक्ट, और उसका एनालिसिस करके नाउ यू हैव डन सम काइंड ऑफ अ रिसर्च. नेक्स्ट इज what was the extent of your work. Again, it comes to asking, did you look at one specific case or have worked for many cases? Did you look at one specific case? Did you look at one specific case or have worked for many cases? Is the answer. What important variables? Now this is crucial. The last point is very important. What, and if it is not clear, then there is a doubt. यहाँ से आपका इसको आपके सारा काम जो है ना, वो ये जो लास्ट स्टेटमेंट है अप्रोच, दिस इज सो इम्पोर्टेंट. व्हाट इम्पोर्टेंट वेरिएबल डिड यू कंट्रोल, डिड यू इग्नोर और डिड यू मेजर? दिस इज क्रूशियल. आपको पता होना चाहिए कि आप कौन से ऐसे वेरिएबल्स हैं जो अभी आपकी इस स्कोप में, इस वर्क में यू आर इग्नोरिंग देम, कौन से ऐसे वेरिएबल्स हैं जो जिनके आपके पास फॉर एग्जांपल सेंसर्स मौजूद हैं जो आप मेजर कर रहे हैं, या आपके पास कोई सर्वे मैकेनिज्म है जिसके थ्रू आप मेजर कर रहे हैं. इट मे बी एन इंजीनियरिंग सिस्टम, इट मे बी एन नॉन इंजीनियरिंग सिस्टम, टेंजिबल, नॉन टेंजिबल, बट ऑफ कोर्स देयर विल बी सम वेरिएबल्स जो कि इंफॉर्मेशन गैदर करेंगे, उनको आप मेजर करेंगे किस तरीके से, व्हाट यू आर इग्नोरिंग, और हमारे हाथ में ये आप किस चीज़ को कंट्रोल कर रहे हैं. ओके, नेक्स्ट वी हैव द रिजल्ट सेक्शन. रिजल्ट्स में वी हैव टू क्लियरली टेल कि हमारा आंसर क्या आया है. फॉर एग्जांपल इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियरिंग पेपर्स के अंदर वी कंक्लूड दैट समथिंग इज मोर एनर्जी एफिशिएंट, या इट इज़ मोर पावरफुल, इट इज़ मोर चीपर और कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव है, या फिर एक्यूरेट फॉर फ्रॉम, और एक्यूरेट है किसी दूसरी चीज़ से, समथिंग. ओके, समथिंग इज बेटर देन द अदर थिंग्स. दिस इज व्हाट वी आंसर. And we have to be very specific by putting the numbers to avoid the vague statements like अगर हम कहते हैं it's very small or small, very significant, except if the improvement is in orders of magnitude, then we can use it, otherwise no. Conclusion requires that what are the implications of your answers. Is it going to change the approaches significantly, or is it a significant win on something? Is it simply serving as a good signboard indicating that this path of study? Now coming back here, what are the implications of your answer? See, results में और conclusions में क्या फ़र्क है? Results will tell the truth. You have to answer. यहाँ पे you have to be very specific. ठीक है, आपने बता दिए जो facts हैं, आपने बता दिए. Now from these facts आपका क्या conclusion है? What are the implications of your आंसर? ये जो आंसर है इसके अंदर क्या चीज़ें छुपी हुई हैं? क्या इज इट गोइंग टू चेंज द अप्रोचेस सिग्निफिकेंटली? फॉर एग्जांपल जो भी आपने रिसर्च प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व किया है या उसको टैकल किया है, उसके बाद आपके नतीजा, आपका रिजल्ट क्या आ रहा है, व्हाट आर द कंक्लूजन्स? फॉर एग्जांपल आप देयर माइट बी अ प्रॉब्लम रिलेटेड टू सम काइंड ऑफ, लेट्स टेक अ प्रॉब्लम, और उस प्रॉब्लम में लेट्स टेक अ प्रॉब्लम, और उस प्रॉब्लम में जो है आपने कोई चीज़ सॉल्व की. फॉर एग्जांपल कुछ चाइना से आप कोई पावर सिस्टम, पावर सप्लाई हमारे पास कोई फिक्स्ड है, हम उसको बनाते नहीं हैं, और हमेशा बाहर से इंपोर्ट होती है, या कोई ट्रांजिस्टर रेजिस्टर्स है जो कि कोई भी कंपोनेंट है जो बाहर से इंपोर्ट होता है. एंड देन यू फिगर इट आउट कि आपने जो चीज़ें सारा सिस्टम में कैलकुलेशंस की हैं उसके मुताबिक द मोस्ट पावर कंज्यूमिंग एलिमेंट इज़, और कॉस्टली एलिमेंट इज़ दैट वन. फॉर एग्जांपल अभी हम आपको फॉर एग्जांपल वी कैन डिस्कस वन थिंग लाइक इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स में 40-60% जो 40% से भी ज़्यादा शायद इट वाज जो कॉस्ट थी वो बैटरी सिस्टम्स की है, बहुत ज़्यादा कॉस्ट है. आई माइट बी रॉन्ग, लेकिन व्हाट आई एम रिकॉलिंग इज़ लाइक 40-60% कॉस्ट जो है वो बैटरी की है. इतनी ज़्यादा कॉस्ट है पूरी गाड़ी के अंदर इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल में. सो इफ़ importing that one is causing us too much money. सो अगर आप उसको उस क्वालिटी की बैटरीज को लोकली बनाना शुरू कर देते हैं तो ऑफ कोर्स इट विल बी अ गेम चेंजर. इज़ इट गोइंग टू चेंज द अप्रोच सिग्निफिकेंटली? ऑफ कोर्स. क्या हम फिर काबिल हो जाएंगे अपनी इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स बनाने? क्योंकि बाकी जो स्ट्रक्चर मैकेनिकल है वो बनाना कोई बड़ा मसला काम नहीं है, और इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स ऑलरेडी हमारे पास नॉर्मल कन्वेंशनल व्हीकल्स हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल यू कैन मेक अ किट फॉर द इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल, और उसके बाद जो है इट विल बी अ होल गेम चेंजर. खैर, नेक्स्ट is it a significant win on something? As I told you, if we are able to work on the major or major things, और उसको हम खुद से बना लेते हैं, there are plenty of things, then is it simply serving as a good signboard indicating that this path of study research is waste of time? Of course, ये सबसे बड़ा important thing है. This is also important. Next we have are your results general, potentially generalizable, or specific to a particular case? It means कि जो आपने काम किया है उसको हम क्या और सिचुएशंस पे भी जनरलाइज कर सकते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल अगर हमने कहीं पे किसी एक यूनिवर्सिटी के अंदर स्टूडेंट्स की एक्टिविटीज़ या स्टडीज़ के ऊपर कोई रिसर्च का काम किया है, तो अगर वो एक यूनिवर्सिटी में जैसे जीएसयू में अगर हमने वो काम किया, तो क्या इज़ इट ऑल्सो हैज़ द पोटेंशियल कि वो दूसरी किसी यूनिवर्सिटी के ऊपर भी अप्लाई हो सकती हो, प्राइवेट या ये सिर्फ एक पर्टिकुलर केस था हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी का जो कि कहीं और अप्लाई नहीं हो सकता. सो दीज आर ऑल द कंक्लूजन्स, बट इन कंक्लूजन बेसिकली you guide everyone in a very it's like an advice. It conclusion is एक अच्छा conclusion लिखने के लिए you have to be wise. Wisdom, a little bit of wisdom is required uh, to think more than numbers. Previously, in the last slide, अगर हम जाए तो it was about specifically talking about results are all talking about the numbers. लेकिन conclusion is not about that thing. It is like when you add wisdom and some more words to your results, it becomes conclusion. इसके अलावा कुछ और considerations भी हैं. For example, abstract must be self-contained. You don't need to go through the whole paper to know about the sections that we have discussed. जो ingredients है कि क्या motivation थी इस काम की, what इस research paper को काम करने के लिए पीछे motivation क्या थी. इसके साथ आपके पास और रिसर्च प्रॉब्लम्स थी क्या, क्या चैलेंजेस, और इसका मेथड आपने क्या यूज़ किया, क्या रिजल्ट्स हैं, क्या कंक्लूजन है. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि आप सिर्फ मोटिवेशन दें और उसके बाद रिजल्ट्स और बाकी चीज़ों के बारे में एंड यूज़ अ फ्यू थिंग्स. एक और चीज़ कि इट मस्ट बी द वर्ड काउंट लिमिटेशंस. इट इज़ बेटर टू डू बाय योरसेल्फ. अदरवाइज होगा ये कि अगर आपने 500 वर्ड्स का एब्स्ट्रैक्ट भेज दिया है, योर पेपर इज़ वेरी गुड, तो हो सकता है कि वहाँ पे वो खुद से अपनी तरफ से वो एब्स्ट्रैक्ट को जो है ना आखिर के 3-4 लाइनों को कट कर दें, एंड देन you will lose the quality of your abstract. और उसकी वजह से होगा ये कि आपकी जो रिसर्च पेपर है, other people might be unable to go to find your abstract. So be very careful. And major restrictions on limitations on the results should be अच्छा, this is also important कि जो on results पे जो major restrictions और limitations हैं उनको state करना ज़रूरी है. For example, these are the doubts that you want to share with other people which you are unable to explore more, or there are some indications. So that you might say might, could, may, and seems. You can use these words. Think of the search phrases and keywords that other people might use to locate your work, and don't forget to use them is also important. इसके अलावा so the keywords help search engines along with the abstract, and keywords help to assign reviewers for your पेपर. ऑफ कोर्स आपके पेपर किसी ने रिव्यू भी करना है, तो उसके लिए भी ज़रूरी है. सो इन कंक्लूजन सेक्शन में राइटिंग एन एफिशिएंट एब्स्ट्रैक्ट इज़ हार्ड वर्क ऑफ कोर्स, बट इट विल repay you with increased impact on the world by enticing people to read your publication. And it also make sure that all the components of a good abstract are included in the next work you write. This is very important, and you should be very ready about it. Before we start, some examples. Now, okay, conclusion. Now we are going to start. Now we will learn to write some abstracts. I will bring some examples. So, but before we start, conventional approach says first you have to write the paper, and then the benefits are summarizing what already has been achieved. Whatever you have achieved, you will summarize it. And the challenges are the target is not clearly set, leading to unclear timeline of completion. Since you are tackling a challenge, so you don't know, sometimes you don't know how long it will take, and it's sometimes, of course, it's common that the research will take long. The bottom up approach is this one. Convention, I rather call it conventional. The other one is innovative approach. I say write the abstract first, envision your paper first. And by the way, the first approach, the conventional approach, will bring you a general paper, and the innovative approach are usually used in the conference papers. And honestly, the ideas for new disruptive research is from the conferences, because, and you might remember, if you go through the conference, usually the practice is, when the conferences are held, they initially ask you to write and submit an abstract. So if there is a conference ahead and I see it about the theme of the conference, I can think about a research paper and can write an abstract, a draft, an abstract that I will be able to implement in a paper. So write the abstract first. It needs an envision for your paper first. Challenges: it is difficult to envision, of course, you need some experience, and the benefits are clear target to follow, and it's a top-down approach. I prefer this one. Now let's have a story of an abstract. This abstract, it took that abstract. It took up around 3 years generally through the minds and computers of different people. Draft, and I encourage you to draft an abstract, and you will end up with a very fine publication. All you need is a passion to work and publish your work. Passion to work and publish your work. Here is an idea generated in 2011 in a course, Distributed Control Systems, and the abstract says that the objective of this research work, and this was an idea, so there was an objective of the, and this is the statement, this becomes the statement of the abstract. The objective of this research work is to investigate the use of OPC technology. Of course, in the OPC, you can take an idea that it was introduced in Distributed Control System course, a term, and then the guy was and then this person got interested that I should use this OPC technology for the implementation of advanced process control techniques. So there are these two things: OPC technology he learned from Distributed Control System, and also he got aware of the advanced process control technique. So he would try to combine these two in a Distributed Control System environment. So the system is there, and there are two techniques. So there can be many interesting research facets in this scenario. This was the whole abstract in 2011, and the title of the paper was OPC based advanced process control in DCS. So this is like in drafting an idea, and of course when you are drafting an idea, it does not have any result, it doesn't have any clear approach or methodology. Okay, but this is showing an idea, but you can write an abstract, and after 3 years that work was published of course after so many iterations in ISA transactions in 2014. So the idea was realized, and now we will focus on the abstract. Here you can see that the paper was received on 2012, December 2012, revised, and finally it was published 2015. So here is the paper, and we will identify these sections in this paper. So the OPC originally, so let's study about this OPC. This was there originally, the object linking and embedding, OLE, for process control, brings a broad communication opportunity between different kinds of control systems. So what is this? Is this result, conclusion, approach, statements, motivation, or introduction? It looks to me introduction. So we can say that this is like the introduction. And then we have this paper investigates the use of OPC technology for the study of distributed control systems as a cost-effective. Now, as a cost-effective, flexible research tool for the development and testing of advanced process control technique in university research centers. So this might be the problem statement or overall purpose of study. So this can be problem statement, or overall purpose of study. Next we have okay. Next we have the third one. The third one says core simulation environment based on MATLAB, LabVIEW, and TCP/IP network is presented here. Core simulation environment based on MATLAB, LabVIEW. It may be, it's a little bit of like, I should write it like approach now, and then we will see. So the third one is approach. Next we have several implementation issues and OPC based client server control application have been addressed for TCP network. This is like the challenges we face and also the approach, because it talks about that several implementation issues, and sometimes when you work you have when you are combining 2 to 3 things, you might end up with something new. And for sure in that work I remember the connectivity between and maintaining the connectivity between the OPC client servers and the process control, LabVIEW, MATLAB, this was all not easy. Even if you change the operating system, for example Windows, now it is Windows 10, Windows XP, and all this stuff, when the software layer changes, it gives you a lot of challenges. It gives you a lot of challenges when you change the hardware, when computation hardware, communication hardware, or software. When it changes, it gives a real tough time. So the one statement is good enough to highlight. If you don't write this, and nobody knows, everyone so thinks, okay, it's, see, when the people have, when some challenging new thing is mentioned in a practical in an abstract, it means something, that it has it has a real meaning of challenge. Several implementation issues and OPC based client server control application have been addressed for the TCP network. And the next thing is a nonlinear boiler model is simulated as OPC server, and OPC client is used for closed loop model identification and to design up MPC model predictive control. A nonlinear boiler is simulated. So this is, what about this one? This is also the approach. And the final one is the MPC is able to control the NOx emissions in addition to the drum water level and the steam pressure. Of course, this is result. So this was the result. So envision abstract for your FYP research paper. It's important. Conventional approach is normally followed, but you have to have a vision, to have an abstract in mind. It's a top-down approach, and I encourage you or challenge you that from now, with these 5 sections, try to envision your FYP. And by the way, if you can think in these 5 or 6 terms, you will be able, in 5 terms, so you will be able to have a very good research project. Now we are going through the abstracts, or some examples of the abstract. This is one abstract, and this is your task, that you have to figure out the ingredients of an abstract, just like we did here. You have to do it for this abstract. You have to find out where is the motivation, where is the motivation, the statement, approach, methodology, results, and try to read it. And through this exercise, so this is and there are 2, so this is abstract 1, another abstract 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So there are 7 abstracts, and your task is to identify which sentences in the 7 abstracts corresponds to the sections discussed. For example, you have to identify the sentence serving the purpose of problem statement, and your task 2 is to suggest titles for each abstract. and try to suggest at least 5 to 6 keywords for each abstract. And please submit your work on. And please try to do it by yourself and with honesty. Here is a reference for this. These are some of my research papers that I use here for the abstract, and the Philip Kaufman How to Write an Abstract from Carnegie Mellon University Press. Thank you very much.